On today's Lone Wolf adventure, we'll be playing as Lae'zel. Born and raised in Kresh Kalir, Lae'zel is a fervent follower of Vlaakith, the Lich Queen, undying ruler of all Githyanki. While on a mission, we were given the worst humiliation possible, to be captured aboard a Ghaik ship and infested with a parasite. We now seek the nearest Kresh for purification at their Zaith'isk. This is our story. There's tons of Githyanki dialogue, so I'll be including translated notes along the way. Being infected means we'll need to hurry if we don't want to undergo seramorphosis, a painful process of all your bones breaking and transforming into a Ghaik. We must get to the helm as our only chance of escape. On the way, we can't help but notice a budding intellect devourer. Keeping it alive would go against everything we stand for. These other brains are waiting for a similar fate, so we deal with them before they're turned. We encounter another of our Kresh, Lae'zel, along the way, who reaffirms our thoughts. Get to the helm and get to the nearest Kresh. Lae'zel helps us fight our way through a band of devils before losing his footing and falling to his doom. May Vlaakith protect him. We push on, cleansing the path of Ghaik as we move forward. And at the helm is the one itself, the fully formed Mind Flayer. Risky as it may be, I take the opportunity to take them out with the help of the Devil Spawn. In doing so, I barely get out with my own life. After crashing the ship, we miraculously survive the fall and come to terms with our reality. Dropped in the middle of nowhere, we have to hope a nearby Kresh is somewhere, and that they have a working Zaith'isk. Outside of nearby ruins, a hostile half-elf challenges us to battle and we accept. Fortunately, this half-elf seems unusually inaccurate with her spells, and we give them an honorable end. On her possession was an artifact of sorts. I don't know what it does, though we'll need artifacts if we want to survive this. We take it and head through the burning wreckage of the Nautiloid. Despite my efforts, a few intellect devourers have survived. I must rectify this. A Mind Flayer similarly finds itself among the wreckage. We don't give them a chance. We make our way further into the wilds to find a band of goblins attacking what appears to be a tiefling outpost. We don't care for the tieflings, though goblins are a despicable race, so we use our superior tactics to show them how inferior they really are.
That was the last of them.
Even lowlier than the goblins are the humans, especially this one, who nearly got himself and his own killed. The nearby shopkeep has embarrassingly low quality wares. It'll be a while before we find something befitting a noble Githyanki. The chest piece and boots stay until then. While exploring for anything useful, a bugbear is found ambushing one of the tieflings. Bugbears are strong, but brutes nonetheless. We dispatch of him easily. The local is hostile and suspicious, considering our Nautiloid came straight from the fires of Avernus. It's acceptable, but I don't need her thanks. I'd like to use her telescope. Lucky break, a Githyanki dragon mount is close by. My people must be close too. We'll be headed west. Level 3 is the pivotal level in any warrior's career. We mull it over. We could be an Eldritch Knight, a warrior practiced in the weave, allowing to bind ourselves to our weapon. Perhaps a Berserker, channeling Vlaakith's fury into our strikes. Maybe even both for a powerful throw build. Lae'zel, proud warrior as she is, puts her faith in her own abilities and tactics, becoming a Battle Master. Battle Masters learn a slew of maneuvers, and we'll be taking Riposte, Menacing Strike, and Disarming Strike. To the west, sure enough, are my people and the Dragon Rider. As per Githyanki protocol, we ask for the directions to the nearest Kresh for purification. In a seeming disregard for Vlaakith's protocol, he orders us killed.
Only in death are the infected cleansed.
Well, I guess we'll be a bit less truthful. We convince him we're on a mission from Kresh Kalir to take the head of a Mind Flayer. Having collected 2 already, he tells us of a new mission. To seek a polyhedric artifact of great importance. Our heart skips a beat. By pure chance, the artifact had fallen into my possession. I must report this to my queen. Before he heads off with my new advanced tactics, I'm able to perform a disarming strike on Githyanki Voss. Before anyone knows what happened, we take the sword for my own. This seems like a half-decent blade. Fine craftsmanship. My other blade was woefully inaccurate. A traitorous Githyanki who dares ignore our queen's protocol doesn't deserve it. It did point us to the nearby Kresh, though. Just over the bridge, one's located in an old monastery. We're off to the mountain pass. On the way is a human who dares to even think about stealing one of our young.
I need a Githyanki egg.
This Istik, unlike the other, deserves nothing but to die by my blade. She has a couple things on her, mostly inadequate armor again, though the necklace looks promising. Maximum heals from all sources imply my second wind, and potions, great for my survivability. At the local monastery, I spot my people rounding up what looks like a group of cultists, the absolute I overhear. They lock the doors behind us, so we'll need to head around. It's around this time that we're visited by our dream visitor. They make mention of the Absolute, a cult involved in the recent surge of parasitic infections, and also that they're protecting us from ours. I don't know how I feel about owing my safety to a drow, but I guess I'll have to suck up our pride. I hear them speak into my mind, warning me about my own people. Sorry, protector or not, purification will save me for good. Perhaps they were right though. Once again, some Shkaketh does not follow the proper procedure. We are feeling less than intimidating today, and I'm not going to waste my time on lowly warriors. We drink an invisibility potion and slip on past. If you want to succeed the upcoming checks, I'd recommend stocking up on some inspirations. For instance, we help the tiefling to train for the upcoming battle against the goblins. While searching for the Zaithisk, we stumble upon a Kachaki failing to meet his instructor's demands, bringing to name something that rings a bell. But I ignore it. Anyone who fails to raise their blades is no good as a soldier. Our Savarsh decides to teach them another lesson. Eventually we do find the infirmary and confide in the Justil. Our moment is here. The Zaithisk will cure us finally. We must concentrate on the parasite, else this machine might remove more than just our infection. Our sword gives us advantage on our saves, and we stocked up on inspiration, letting us roll very well.
Feel yourself ebbing away while the parasite only grows stronger. It's evolving. Death awaits.
It's almost our moment of crowning glory. However, our Dream Guardian decides to intervene, destroying the Zaithisk and our hopes of purification. I knew they weren't to be trusted. Argus still is understandably upset by this, though I'm feeling awfully lucky right now, and I can talk my way out of it.
Really?
I really like the lucky feat, though in this instance it was just a burst of luck. Instead, at level 4, we'll be taking Great Weapon Master, much more befitting a warrior of our stature. Well, we were denied the opportunity to cleanse ourselves, but perhaps the Astral Prism, or so it's called, holds the key. We bring the prism to the Kresh Kithrak to the eye of our so-called Dream Guardian.
No! No!
The Kresh Inquisitor wants an audience and he'll get one.
Appears you have been chosen, Vin Isk. How lucky you are.
We make our way to Tarai Wargaz's chamber. We produce the artifact and something unexpected happens. My queen appears.
The goddess of your kin, the queen of the astral, the stillest of seas. Vlaakith has risen.
Finally, we can show her our worthiness by slaying the beast within the prism.
It is corrupted. Kill them!
We provision beforehand, taking the surrounding treasures before heading in.
Pulses out of the astral prism as it begins to flower. Your mind burns hot with excitement.
Here it seems that the agent of the grand design Vlaakith spoke of was our dream visitor. I should have expected as much. We travel in, set on killing this threat. Our queen warned us they would lie, and lie they are. Speaking of Vlaakith's secrets, I don't buy it. We strike her down.
I really thought you wouldn't. We could have been so much more. But you had to choose this.
Or so I think, but I fear they may be more powerful than they're letting on. I don't have the strength to kill them.
So, you are not to be trusted.
She spouts more lies, going on about Vlaakith's secret, though something perks my ears. She dares insinuate my queen would kill me once I leave. My venerable queen would never demand this. I don't believe it.
You have failed. Your death has been decreed.
But belief isn't the same as reality. Exiting the prism, my queen has ordered my death. Or Wargaz being the arbiter. I can barely survive their onslaught before I even get a chance to think. I run and hide to the side. I'm trapped. Though curious contraptions lay themselves before me. A plaque reads of the sun's rising and descent, and after rotating the statues, a passageway opens. An escape. and a place to rest for the time being. We have a lot to think about. While I'm still loyal to my queen, a hint of doubt still stirs. I feel like both sides are still giving me an incomplete picture, but one thing's for sure. My queen has branded me a traitor, and the only way out is a fight. We made sure to get level 5 before attempting this. The extra attack is going to go a long way. Like a bolt, we run in and knock one of her guards before they can even react, slinking back to our camp, and returning before they even realize what happened. We strike at the warriors in the doorway, knocking one of them out with just 2 swings, and the other similarly falling. Poor Wargaz is hot on our trail, but we can knock out his remaining Ardent before taking him on. It was a mistake to leave my kin alive, while Wargaz drains them of their abilities, conscious or not. He may have legendary resistance, but our tactics still do increased damage. We use everything we have on him: elixirs of strength, potions of speed, throwing healing pots, and powering through. By a knife's edge, we strike true. When I come to, he's dead. It's one thing to disappoint your queen. It's another to kill a lowly Vinisk. But we have killed a Chirai, Vlaakith's Inquisitor. There's no turning back from this point. No room for redemption. We're a traitor. I throw my sword down. I need to get out. And it looks like we have a welcoming party. I scramble for my Githyanki short sword and press on. We knock the weapon out of our Kithrak's hands, picking it up as we sprint past. I can already feel it's not as good as the other, but I'm undeserving of it. We manage to escape and rest to ruminate on my thoughts. Uh-oh. That would be Voss, the guy whose sword I found. He seems to have recovered it, here to slay me with the sword I slayed Lord Wargaz with.
A Sharnak.
Or so I thought, considering I'm not dead yet.
Mother Gith compels you to listen.
Whatever he has to say is bound to be worthwhile.
I know you carry the astral prism, Lae'zel. Within it lies the seed of Vlaakith's demise, and I intend to help you bring it to fruition. Prism's
Seemingly, he
tenant
affirms
can
our
put
dream
an end
villager's
to
statement,
Vlaakith's
a
tyranny.
great secret. He
They
similarly
must be
references a
let loose.
pennant that resides inside, and it must be someone other than the dream
I've
visitor.
sought their freedom for eons. When the prism went missing, I feared the worst. Instead, you've granted the opportunity I've so long awaited. All that remains is the key that unchains them. And I've found someone who I believe can provide it. Bring the prism to Baldur's Gate. I'll be waiting in a tap room called Shares's Caress. That is where we decide the fate of our people. Lae'zel, together we will break our chains and be Vlaakith's slaves no longer.
Once again, more half-truths. But out of all the statements I've heard, Voss seems to be the most sincere. It would be unlikely he would lie to me instead of just cutting me down.
Lae'zel, I see Talakma Gear in you, sister in freedom. Together we will be our people's light.
I'll meet him at Baldur's Gate.
I'll be waiting, Lae'zel.
I'd wish Voss would just warp me to Baldur's Gate, but it seems like we'll have to get there ourselves. And I heard rumors of a passage through the Goblin Camp. One additional piece of equipment we pick up from the creche is a circlet, another piece of equipment from our people, one I can proudly wear. It's clear passing through this camp that the leaders are infested with tadpoles, and, traitor or not, Olithids deserve to die. We lure one of the camp leaders to the side and prepare our arms. Goblins are weak, and with what I've learned, we can slay them with grace. Sure enough, a power starts to overwhelm us. Our body moves on its own and starts to draw on the parasite. We're strong and can resist the foul impulses of the tadpole, instead breaking free of its host. Can you believe this thing is inside my skull? I heard there are 3 leaders to this camp, so I search for the others. Lae'zel is the first we stumble upon. He devastates our HP on the first round, but he's reckless, meaning we can devastate him on the swing back. One last foe is Minthara. Protected by a ton of goblins, she has a formidable guard. One large chasm is begging. I throw them all in. We fight our way through some more goblins before finding a promising passage. We kill the ogre defending the way forward before locating some kind of puzzle. Lae'zel never was one for puzzles, but after trying all 47 different configurations, one eventually seems to do something, taking us to the Underdark. It's hard to not notice our welcoming party, a giant minotaur. It would be wrong to deny him a proper fight. We lower the gates and take him on one-on-one. One glorious battle later, we're prepared to press forth, in hopes of reaching Baldur's Gate. Curiosity sticks out, a grouping of fungi and what appears to be fungal creatures. These myconid leaders are wary of outsiders, and are content with giving us passage. Sticking out from the fungi and the spores is a hobgoblin. A scholar of his stature might know a thing or two about ceramorphosis, and explaining the story, a glimmer of hope shines through. He knows someone who might help.
Adventurer has an illithid tadpole inside her head, but she hasn't turned.
Turning around, what is this? I knew he was sketchy. It appears the Gig infestation has reached all the way to the Underdark. I must cleanse the lands for my people. Baldur, however, escapes from my grasp. Damned Gake sympathizers. We confiscate his belongings to the ire of the Myconoids. It seems we're not welcome here anymore. Looks like we're gonna have to search elsewhere. Down the road, a couple of Dwargars catch my eye, which is already a show of their inferiority. They demand that I help them in their quest for a pair of boots, and I feign interest. Not that they noticed. Something I noticed was the raft off to the side. The guard doesn't seem to permit us, though we can have him look the other way. Literally.
A vessel wobbles on the lake's murky waters.
Sneaking onto the raft, we sail across uncertain waters. It seems we've been spotted. I can tell by the amulet this one wears he's a member of the Absolute. We can abuse this by acting, as a so-called true soul would. We manage to talk our way out of the fight and find ourselves on a distant shore. A fancy Dwargar hold rests here, and on brief exploration we find a couple of Dwargar guarding an elevator back to the surface, to Moonrise Towers. Earlier my people mentioned Gake activity at this Moonrise. Surely leaving for the surface will get me closer to Baldur's Gate, and killing a few Gake on the way never hurt. Let's head to the Shadow-Cursed lands. If you're liking the video so far, feel free to subscribe or join the channel. A lot of work goes into these videos and your support goes a long way. It's unlike anything I've ever seen before. The fetid air wafts over me as I enter. As I feel the curse affect me, I light my torch as instructed. I feel it stave off, though I can tell it won't work forever. We'll need to get moving. It's hard not to notice the glowing spheres we make our way through. Seemingly open to visitors, we enter. And they're seemingly hostile to visitors. The apparent leader of this place restrains us under the pretense we're a cultist. I laugh at the thought until I remember the tadpole writhing inside my head. Struggling as I might against our restraints, I fear I made a mistake coming in here. An unfamiliar face shows themselves though, an undercover absolute cultist.
If you want to survive this, then trust me. One true soul to another.
Being bailed out like this is a stain on my pride, but I'm without alternatives. I'll play along with a charade for now. Let's not dawdle. I provision while I can, grabbing some supplies and a cape befitting someone of my stature. On the way out, some of these so-called harpers are looking to ambush a caravan. I'm not one to turn down a fight. Lead the way. We don't have any protection from the Shadow Curse, so their light will be coming in handy. There they are. No point in talking, to battle.
Lunatics in the dark!
Karnus is a very deadly foe, but we'll want to take out his minions first. I stumbled across a firewall scroll earlier, so let's put it to good use. Hopefully that'll be enough to stave off the Shadow Curse. It doesn't look like the firewall was enough, but hopefully a fireball can finish the job. Karnus not only does a ton of damage, but has tons of health, and the Harpers only function as damage sponges. We managed to land some good hits, getting him low. Soon though, with all the Harpers dead, we'll need to be careful. We kite him away to not get hit and use Blur as insurance. With our mightiest swing, we can only get him to 1 HP, and despite my efforts, I don't have a way to squeeze out 1 damage. Our battle leads us to each of us having 1 HP, and I'm not taking chances. What better way to kill a Gake than with Gake grenades? That lantern he was holding seems to be speaking to me. Sure enough, it sounds as if someone's trapped in it. A quick smash reveals the pixie trapped within.
You rat! Now I've got glass stuck in my loaf!
For their rescue, they promise us protection from the Shadow Curse. And for fooling with the Fae, a brand new curse to spoil my day.
Enjoy, crack cheese.
I don't feel any different though. I wonder what she did to me. Regardless, with our new protection, we can head to Moonrise. I hope there's a lot of Gake. However, my hopes are dashed. Nothing but absolute cultists, it seems. Still, I will kill them. Just not now. No need to stir the hornet's nest, not just yet. If that encounter from earlier has shown us anything, it's that I'm seen as a true soul. So let's do some espionage first. A bugbear doubts our strength as a warrior, though mere mention of our tales has him singing our praise. He'll sell us some discount tools, and I have a suspicion I'll need to crack a few skulls later, so let's buy a warhammer. Exploring into the main chamber, we find a scene before us. Goblins from earlier defending their failures to their masters. The leader, Ketheric Thorm, asks for our opinion. Of goblins, what's there to say?
It ain't true!
If they're worth anything, they can prove it against my steel.
You serious? I don't stand a chance!
And as expected, I've already drawn some attention. Though in a good way, I'd hope. My prowess as a warrior is already known throughout Moonrise, and I've been tasked on a mission. If we can get closer to their general, we can probably take down their command structure from the inside. Our task is to search for a powerful relic in a nearby temple. Perhaps we can use it against him. If there's anything we're low on, it's potions. But a house of healing rests just outside Moonrise. Hopefully we can stock for later. I managed to pick up a few, but I find something concerning. Surgery, which looks more like a dissection to me. I don't think I'll be receiving help from them, but they can't just be allowed to do this. These shadows have me on higher alert than normal, so hopefully I can get the jump on them. In increasing quantities are enemies with resistance to my blows. I stocked up on oils of sharpness and elixirs of strength to mitigate this. We're also geared up with scrolls of protection, which are good against all these undead. We cleave through 2 of his assistants with no problem, with the remaining ones handing him a massive saw. I have a feeling I don't want to get hit by it, so we retreat to some higher ground, working our way through the recurring horde of assistants. We eventually get into a good pattern, killing his assistant before turning to damage him, and eventually he gets enraged. His multi-attack shreds our health. Much better to frighten him with our maneuvers and take the opportunity attack. An elixir of speed gives us the boost at the end, nearly taking him out. Still frightened, he can't do much as I rear back around to land our finishing blows. Outside this place is the ruins Zarel marked on our maps. Deep within these tombs is a temple, and I know little of Faerun's religions, but this is a temple to Shar, goddess of loss. I can already spot a few of her followers. Let's take them out. For a level 7 undead, they're really weak. A chamber lies in the back, though it won't open to our first attempts, and there's no way we're I brought a scroll of knock for this, but this'll work, I guess. Anyways, inside rests the one behind this expedition, Balthazar. More undead. Great. I think we can get away with slaying him. Best to do it now while he's isolated. We can pretend he died in an accident. Before fighting him, we purchase his potions so he can't use them against us. By getting the jump on him with our stun, he rolls a natural 1, takes the fury of 6 empowered strikes. 4 deadly undead remain, but we can position ourselves outside the door, causing them to get stuck on each other. We dispatch of them. The big one was menacing though. Fire seemed to be effective in burning down his flesh. Further exploration of these ruins reveals a series of trials, and by trials I mean puzzles. Lae'zel is still not one for puzzles, but one catches her eye. Same self-trial, a show of combat prowess versus ourselves. If there's one thing I know about myself is we can dish a lot of damage, but can't really take a lot. This sphere he drops seems like a perfect fit for an altar I saw earlier, which seems to operate this lift. A slow descent into darkness reveals a similar pedestal, and a door. We luckily still have that scroll of knock from earlier. I would bet this is where the relic is hidden. Inside is another plane, one we recognize as the Shadowfell. We're deep in Shar's domain now, at the bottom of which seems to be a female. I just got here, and whoever this is wants to flee. She claims to be the source of Ketheric's invulnerability, which I find kinda hard to believe, though if she lies, I'll just slay her where she stands. From what I can see and hear though, she might have actually been telling the truth. This is Dame Aelin, Saloon's champion. This is not how I plan to wield Ketheric's artifact, but she's more than willing to get revenge alongside us, and it looks like the Harpers have been rallied as well. Before we head straight into the heart of the infestation, it'd be best to level up a few times, so let's get training. Now that we're level 8, we gain some extra maneuvers and a new feat. I just beat up on a magical skeleton training dummy for 2 hours, and my ability to slay mages has improved dramatically. Before we cleanse out the Gake, my Quanith goes off, a psionic detector Voss gave me, warning me of Vlaakith's assassins. I'm plenty prepared. We haste and blur ourselves and deal with the rangers handily. The Chirai will pose more of a threat. We move to strike them out next, surging into combat, using every maneuver in our arsenal to knock her out before she can even land a decent hit on us. The recoil from exerting myself this hard is starting to set in. We misty step away to catch our breath for a turn, warriors in pursuit. They reach our positions and it's a close match with all of my resources burned, but in the end we're able to prevail. Our Chirai actually had some decent gear befitting her rank. Some well-forged Githyanki gloves and armor will go a long way as we move forward. Our path to Baldur's Gate is blocked by a wall of absolute raiders.
You've killed us all.
Fortunately, the only way we'll be able to break through is by disrupting their leadership by killing their general. It seems Aelin and the Harpers have already left their marks, and are gearing up for battle as we speak. We may have started on the wrong foot, but we fight as allies today. This room is brimming, but constant battles have taught me the importance of positioning, not to mention a few well-placed firewalls. Jaheira is unaware of these concepts, jumping into the middle of the fray before dying in one turn. Her death will be avenged though. It's hard fought, but our firewalls put a serious drain on their health, weakening them for my chance to wreak havoc in melee combat. We fight all the way to the rooftop, where a now vulnerable Ketheric Thorm dwells. Through these doors, Aelin and Ketheric are dueling, and we can join them. Let's end him. We'll want to deal with the lesser undead and necromancers first, since we can't sponge that much damage each round. Ketheric in the middle duels Aelin. I recommend you keep each other healed up by splashing some potions. We knock Ketheric's hammer out of his hands before getting knocked around. Aelin lands a few blows herself before joining me. I only managed to get a few glancing blows, but it's enough. Ketheric retreats down into the underbelly of the Absolute. We grab his hammer and give chase, leading us straight to an Illithid colony. Disgusting. Full of undead and Gake alike. If there's any time for a firewall, I would recommend now. The long stream of undead makes for a perfect target. We finish them off to find, guess what? A puzzle. Try as we might, there's no avoiding this one. I guess we'll have to use our brain. All to reveal a brain and a mural depicting the grand design. The Illithid takeover of not just this world, but worlds beyond. It seems this prism is the key to stopping it. I need to get Voss in quick. A back chamber has 2 points of interest, a bulb of bliss and a brain apparatus. The bulb we'll save for later, but after inserting the brain it begins to speak.
Fine bones, sharp jaw. Pretty enough for a flesh prison, if not the noble Githzerai features I was born with.
A monk-like Githzerai, sibling race to your own Githyanki. The only beings your people hate more are the Illithids themselves.
Yeah, upon closer examination, this is the mind of a Githzerai, my cousin race. Traitors. They demand I erase their mind with my tadpole, which we blatantly refuse.
Please!
I have not, and will continue to not use this thing. The less I use it, perhaps the longer I'll live. We make our way down deep, a fetid aura filling the air. Inside the sealed door are 3 familiar figures. These are the Absolutes chosen. Ketheric, Gortash, and Orin, all gathered. Also gathered is the apparent truth of the Absolute, and our tadpole, an Elder Brain, the master of any Illithid colony. Though it appears to be controlled by these 3, their keystones giving them this power. It's about time we finished what we started, though I see Aelin is locked up again. Before anything, let's one-shot this Mind Flayer and free her, once again plaguing Ketheric with mortality. Aelin's godly aura alone is enough to kill most of the lesser foes in her path, and with our combined effort, can kill most of them. There'll not be another time to heal Aelin. Let's make sure she's as healthy as possible going in. Ketheric falls, but he has a trick. Ketheric is the chosen of Myrkul, and he gives himself up just as we are besting him.
I am the smile of the worm-cleansed skull.
Speaking of Myrkul, here he is, always a large pain. We have Ketheric's hammer equipped from earlier, as what would be more befitting to deal him in. The Warhammer is important since Myrkul isn't resistant to magical bludgeoning. Sharpening our Warhammer, we can hope to do damage. As to not get utterly destroyed by Myrkul, I'd recommend casting Darkness on him, and spacing out to not get swiped. We don't have any natural dark vision, though a ring we grabbed earlier helps out. We forgot to put it on earlier, but we just burn an action to put it on, since the advantage from him being blind is worth the investment. Hasted, we do an average of 100 damage around. His reinforcements are incoming, and we'll heal him if we don't act fast, but our blows strike true, landing fortunate critical hits, knocking the Lord of Bones down without too much of a fight. Aelin seems a bit overzealous about our triumph, though we did just clear an Illithid colony entirely by ourselves. Had I not betrayed our queen, I would have a spot in Tunarath surely. We grab his stone. Maybe we'll have a shot at controlling the brain ourselves. The Absolute's armies, now in disarray, are easy enough to stealth past, putting us on the road to Baldur's Gate. Just 1 day's journey left, time to rest up and dream. Everything's coming to a head. Voss will have a plan, I'm sure. With or without his help, I'm sure to be purging the Absolute. Their colony already lies in tatters. Maybe my queen will even forgive me. No, there's still more I don't know. I must find it out.
But sleep is not for you.
Be careful what you wish for. It seems we'll be getting a surprise lesson. Before I know it, my people are upon me. The Dream Guardian's in trouble. Did the Quaneth not work? Have Vlaakith's warriors found us? No. What we're seeing is the truth. We entered the Astral Prism to find dead Githyanki and Gake spawn all about. We need to get to the skull to get to the bottom of this. At the skull, a Githyanki in chains, and at the forefront of it all, a Mind Flayer. And the Gake even admits to being our Dream Guardian. Now all the false truths are falling into place, and I won't be the one to let my actions go without consequences. Die, Gake. But despite my instincts, I know this isn't the way. As much as it kills me, I'm not fated to slay them here. In the 9 billion timelines I kill him here, this is the one where I take a chance and trust the Gake. I will work with them, briefly, until I can find more answers.
Thank you.
The Mind Flayer's combination of controlling and stuns allow me to pick off the honor guard one by one until it's just me and the Gake. He has some explaining to do. He reveals our mystery Gith's identity. Orpheus, rightful heir to the Githyanki throne. He was supposed to have been dead. So, this is the missing piece of the Queen's story. And now it's revealed. Vlaakith, the usurper. The Emperor is against freeing him, but of course, why wouldn't he be? I still don't trust them, and when they offer to evolve me, my distrust is set in stone. I must free my prince. He gives me a tadpole to evolve with, which I squish beneath my only remaining keepsake from Kresh Kalir. These boots have served me well. I hope they can carry us to the city tomorrow. Well, we're here, the outskirts of Baldur's Gate. I would have thought a city of such a regional significance would have been better off. What's with these Istik? I have more important things to do than to worry about your parents, little girl. We need to get to Voss for the fate of my people and perhaps this plane. Someone does get my attention on the way. Klaus here takes me for a circus performer, which I'm about to kill him for. That is until he points out my clown makeup. Why hasn't anyone said anything yet? It doesn't wash off. It must be cursed. We'll need to remove it later. Baldur's Gate is just past this point, and I have no time for this. I can see Sharesis crest through the gates, and I make a mad dash. Surging forward, I manage to lose them. I'll probably want to rest a day to lose the heat. All I do is draw more unwanted attention. My queen has found me.
Look upon she who conquers.
She wants to cut a deal. She pleads with me to slay Orpheus so that I may be cured, even ascended, even promoted to be her chosen. We know too much now to be tempted by such blatant pandering. Even if my queen speaks true about everything, that Orpheus is a threat to all Gith, killing him would certainly spell our own doom. Either way, I'm dead, but in freeing him, I believe there's a chance for us and our people. She doesn't like this answer.
I am Vlaakith, undying queen of the noble Githyanki, god regent of the 6 arms of Tunarath. You will answer to me! The Kithraki will bring you. I will tear your flesh from your bones and devour your skull's marrow while you beg for death. I will consume you. I will unmake you.
Huh. Voss better have good news for us tomorrow. Skstha. I find him inside the devil's lair. This does not bode well. As to be expected, the devil has a deal, and I don't like how fair it is. The Orphic Hammer, a tool for freeing Orpheus, for the crown of Karsus, what dominates the Elder Brain. The freedom of my people. This surely won't go well. No. I'll be the one to end this on my own. Without the help of a devil, without the help of a tadpole, on my own. I decline his deal.
Then you will die.
Though the devil is right about one thing. Without the Orphic Hammer, there's no freeing Orpheus. It's in the name. Perhaps there's a way to take it from him. As willing as I am to do this on my own, I'll need to find help breaking into the devil's home. Perhaps an answer lies in Baldur's Gate. The bridge is closed for some reason. Really, I still have no time for this. I jump into action, making my own way into town. It seems I have an audience though. Lord Enver Gortash, one of the Chosen, invites me to his inauguration. This might be a chance to take him out. Let's see what he wants. What he wants is an alliance, a chance to control the brain. The other brain, though, seemingly has evolved. The crown has turned it into a nether brain. I'm sure this won't be a problem. I decline his alliance and, as a matter of fact, challenge him to a duel. If he wins, he can have my netherstone. Some careful negotiations lead us to the countryside of Rivington. His guard watches the duel from atop the castle. Gortash has a lot of HP. Our opportunity shows itself and we take it. This enrages him. I now know why he didn't have melee weapons. His hands are enough. His temporary HP in this form is quite an issue, but with our strength we can knock it down. Hasted, we can give him quite a beating. We can't quite finish him before Lethargy kicks in, so we flee as far as we can. Gortash catches up in time to cast his ultimate move, but my mage-slaying prowess cuts him down in the nick of time. Gortash lies dead, not 5 minutes after his inauguration. His netherstone is ours to command. Let's hope answers show themselves in the city. It was a long search, but I think I've found somewhere promising. The Devil's Fee. If any place is bound to have answers, it's here. We have heard in passing of a Diabolist under Gortash's employ.
That's remarkable.
It seems Helsecir is a worshipper of the Lord of Avarice. For a mere pittance of coin, we can learn what we need. It's expensive for a way forward. She can offer us not only the information we need, but even a passage to Raphael's House of Hope. For only 20,000 gold. I don't think any level of intimidation I can do will lower that. We'll need to get some gold. We ask for directions for the local bank. Perhaps I can get a loan. It seems 20k gold is a bit much for a loan, but we can negotiate our way into the lower vaults, and on the way do some pilfering. Of course it's guarded by a puzzle. Well, there can't be too many permutations to go through. We break the code and head to the lower vaults. In a surprise twist though, it seems there's a confrontation. The Stone Lord Minsk.
Moradin's cracked clay.
You are no turnip. Let that be of comfort in your final moments.
Here is Ghost. Not to mention the 10 or so ballish cultists. We have a decent number of allies, so the combat isn't hard at all. Only one person died, that was the most important, Raketh Glitterbeard, who is the head of this place and the quest giver. What's the quest for? Well, the Stone Lord and Ghost here had robbed the bank before I got to it. Roughly 10k gold in possessions gone. We can smell it though. The sewers. That's where they escaped to. It won't be easy finding them in a place this large, but we'd best get looking. I do manage to find Orin at the Baala's temple. She's heard word of our duel with Gortash and wants one of her own. Soon. She wants me to undergo a trial beforehand. We'll deal with that later. For now, close by we find a suspicious gathering of Baalists. They summon a murder of murderous crows, which we murder. And behind all of that murder is why wouldn't it be another puzzle? Let's start twisting valves. Well, that can't be good. After fidgeting with them long enough, the valve opens, and inside is the Stone Lord himself. Roa. She's been showing herself throughout the run, and now she has our money. Everyone at home, I want you to look at this fight location for a moment. Now that you've had a good look, I hope you'll enjoy this firewall. Spanning the entire range, this is a monster firewall. The enemies have no choice but to enter and get burned, and by the time they even get near me, a few cuts are all it takes to finish them off. Now, where did Roa run off to? She mentioned something about her guild hall. I don't know much, but I know an underground organization probably has their base underground. We've explored most of the sewers already, and we can sniff her down. A massive fight between the Zhentarim and the guild ensues, including Roa. She's our prey. We leap up to her and unleash our flurry of blows. We can't quite one round her, but a 2-round is good enough. Either way, she dies and we get our gold. It's only half of what we need, but we've been amassing a lot of sellable equipment, and I'm sure the Zhentarim don't need theirs anymore. We finally get ourselves a scroll of remove curse. It's strange seeing ourselves with a clean face. We also sell all of our junk, getting us to that magical 20,000 number. Before we head to the Hells, my Quaneth has been going off. I feel its presence underneath this tavern. Well, that's a lot of rats. Pesticide will clear the way. The Emperor speaks of his old hideout down here, which is not a helpful thought if the Quaneth is going off. Sure enough, Lacus warriors are here. The portal channelers are the hard part, though they only take 1 hit to kill. Lacus has been running out of good warriors, I can tell. There's still a Try though. Try are basically extensions of Lacus' power, which is why Warwargez was so potent. In a one-on-one though, there's no hope for her, especially without a sword. Our boots have done us well, but the Try had some boots that would do a Githyanki proud. Flight will drastically improve our mobility, especially if we plan to invade the Devil's home. We stock up on potions and prepare for a fight of the ages. 20k gold poorer, we acquire everything we need to enter Raphael's House of Hope. You already know why we're here. The Orphic Hammer, in all of its glory. Though locked behind a passphrase, perhaps Raphael's bedroom holds the answer. I thought I saw him sleeping on his bed, but it's just a gross imitation. Just as he's about to phase out, we stun him. Good fight. A thorough investigation isn't necessary. One look and we can already see something sticking out. And behind it, a safe with our passphrase. We take this straight to the hammer. One step closer to freeing Orpheus. Exiting this place won't be so easy though. Trapped somewhere in these halls is a woman named Hope, the true owner of this house. It's called the Orphic Hammer for a reason. Sorry Hope, but we won't be freeing you with this.
Gods, no! Oh, please, no! No, 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 no!
Giant hell spheres roll through the halls, deadly in melee, but awful cuddly at range. Before entering hell, we grabbed our 11th level fighter, giving us 3 attacks per action, which will go a long way. Other lesser infernal creatures loiter about, and if we want a fighting chance, we'll need to take them out. Hope really doesn't want us to leave without her, though despite her efforts, I'm always sure to have a knock scroll on hand. She does give me an idea for later though. Master of the house Raphael is here. He and his entourage would be tough for any party to handle, and even tougher for us. But we have years of Githyanki tactics under our belt. We are going to run away. Not too far, just enough so we don't get blasted turn 1. I usually like to pick this combat apart enemy by enemy, but we're here to fight. The reason we came all this way was to bait Raphael into giving chase. He's a menace with all these soul pillars around the room, so we'll need to take care of him. With our new boots of flight, we can maneuver around him and half his guard before locking them out. That will last 10 turns. We'll need to try our best to finish before then. Yrgir's a pain with his poisons, and I forgot to provision antidote. So we'll need to tough through it. We do a surprising amount of damage despite our disadvantage, and sure enough after a couple of rounds, we have the room to ourselves. These pillars around the room feed into Raphael's power. We'll need to destroy them while we have the chance. Raphael is furious at what's happening, but he's powerless to stop us. These doors will hold for 3 more turns. We only have a short period to rest, but it's just long enough. A quick nap later and a quick deployment of buffs, we're ready to finish this fight. Even with fire resistance, Raphael will one-shot you with his hellfire, so we'll need to act fast before he transforms. One useful tool from earlier I brought with me was the Resonance Stone, which we grabbed in Act 2. This gives all surrounding enemies, including ourselves, advantage on physical checks and disadvantage on mental checks. Plus, a well-placed spell targeting their mental weakness causes them to run in fear. How lowly the Lord of the House has fallen, first locked out and now fleeing. Someone so pathetic deserves a pathetic end, a toss into the fires of Avernus. We leave the Hells and receive a stern talking by our dream visitor. I don't think they get it. Orpheus will be freed, and my people will be saved.
No.
Time to tell Voss the good news. He is ecstatic and promises us his help in the fight to come. We've wielded it once before, but Voss believes we're ready.
Take it.
It turns out that this was the silver sword of my people, a treasured relic that I can hardly believe is properly mine. Let's accept Orin's invitation to a duel and finish this. But before that, she said something about completing the murder tribunal. They judge my murder of Gortash and aren't satisfied with my honorable duel.
Victim does not know honor. A victim knows terror and pain. You will make a most beautiful offering to the Lord of Murder.
They strike, but I'm quicker. I rush the one in charge, Saravak Anjev. Of our 9 attacks, I land 7 well-placed strikes. He folds under the pressure, and I retrieve the amulet of Ball off his corpse. This is the key that will get us to Orin. Orin isn't here to play nice, though. For an honorable duel, she has several guards, a gathering occultist, and Ball himself. There's one simple answer for someone like this. Sure enough, the surrounding balls spring into action, their dead master's blood on their hands. Even with Orin dead, these enemies are quite potent, though we can deal with them much the same way, creating a happy reunion. That's all 3 stones we need to best the Netherbrain. Unfortunately, I'm not sure how to free Orpheus. I don't have a plane caster as before to enter the Astral Prism. Hopefully we'll have a chance after ending the Grand Design. Near the Ball's temple is a sea of brine, which waters bring us to the Brain's hiding place. We sail for victory. The Brain must be close. Intellect devourers swarm the place. I dispatch all that I can see, though they'll all perish once I'm done here. With our stones in hand, we confront the Netherbrain. I'm not used to the magics of the stones, and have limited success. It seems my attacks are ineffective, and that we may be outmatched. As the Netherbrain reveals, we were acting in its interests all along. In a last show of strength, we managed to press forward and dominate the Brain. To the best of our abilities, of course. It seems even that isn't enough. Right before certain death, the Gake saves my life for a second time, as if the first time wasn't a stain on my pride already. The Netherbrain is on the move, so we'll need to act fast. This stupid Gake nearly cost us everything, though. Since if they were paying attention, they would have known this was a Netherbrain already. I can't possibly team with a Kachaki Gake like this one. To their disappointment, I'm adamant on the freedom of Orpheus. They go off to join the Netherbrain while I liberate the Prince of the Comet. Understandably, our prince is agitated, but it's not my place to question his emotions. What's important is that he's freed, and I'm here to help him. One catch. We need the powers of a Mind Flayer to use the stones. Unfortunately, the one in our service just left, and I wouldn't dare have my prince transform. I order him to transform me. I'll become Gake, though I guess I was always destined to.
People will remember you. The rebel Illithid who stood beside their reborn prince and ended the Grand Design.
We're now a Mind Flayer, meaning all of our Githyanki equipment doesn't even work anymore. But for those with the Deluxe Edition, I would recommend the Mask of the Shapeshifter. If the Emperor can change forms, so can I. At least I can try convincing myself I'm still Gith, my armor too. I'm clearly unconvincing to everyone else though. Voss sees right through my disguise. We'll have his support in the upcoming battle. Not this one though. Enemies of all kinds are here and I couldn't care less about them. The Gake deserves to die though. No peace for them. If you didn't know, you can re-equip rings by dragging and dropping without using an action. And by using Crusher's Ring, you can gain infinite movement in a turn. We use this tactic to get to the top, to fight the Netherbrain. There's no time to waste. We buff up and head in. The Emperor flies in on Dragonback, the constant gall of this Gake. I'm sure to end him before we go forward. Orpheus will try his best to survive in the meanwhile. We start our channel and begin the process of dominating this thing. Thanks to our sword and indomitability, we fortunately survive any attempts to stun us, and with every fiber of our being, tear open the Netherbrain's psyche. We're in the home stretch now. Let's show this brain the true power of a Githyanki turned Illithid. Orpheus can finally act without getting counterspelled, putting down a globe of invulnerability a wee too close. Next turn, we fix that and let out our full potential. We now have 12 potential attacks each round, and with each of them doing around 20 damage, and with us being invincible, Netherbrain, mastermind of the grand design, lays slain.
Possible. Pain. Fear. Terror.
There! At last! It is subdued!
My master. I must obey. I must end.
I will ensure that all Githyanki know your name and your sacrifice. What you have done today will start a fire that rages across the astral plane. With their lost prince returned, my people will burn away Vlaakith's corruption. And it is all thanks to you, the Illithid who defied a Netherbrain. As you wish, my savior. My people are leaving, and I must leave with them. Lae'zel, some will look at you and see an abomination. But I see something else. A revolutionary. Come. We will free the Githyanki and dismantle the Empire. Let them be imprisoned no longer.
The hope in his voice is sincere, fervent even. But in spite of your desire to believe him, you know the truth. You are Geik. You will not be welcome in the Astral Sea. And nor will he.
An Illithid ally. It would be most unorthodox, but advantageous. Let us ride. Kulas! Kuthas!
The future of the Githyanki rests in your hands, and you know just how to mold it.
The balance of the world restored. The balance of these lives, mortal and otherwise, brought to account. Hear me, thou heroes, wastrels, friends. I have waited long to tell you these words. It is over. For now. Thou played thy part in weaving the fabric of fate itself, but for every thread you sewed, so did the gods unravel another. Sleep, rest, revel, but be ready, for thou mayst yet be needed. Until we meet again, I wish thee every possible fortune, health, wealth, love, and above all, problems worth solving. To you,